My name is Dr. Jane Goldberg. Welcome to my show, Musings from 20th Street. I am a psychoanalyst, and I am the owner of La Casa Day Spa, which is a holistic day spa on 20th Street. We're here for the 39th session of my Really Real Reality group therapy show. And in the last session, Kay was talking about that she was uncomfortable with the flirting of Dee and Barbara. And so we were trying to work on that and come to some understanding of what that means and how that could be used productively. And what I was trying to point out was that it's really fine to be uncomfortable, except that it doesn't really say very much. Because when somebody says, I'm uncomfortable, it usually indicates that there's some aggression behind the feeling. And when we explored it a little more, we found out that in fact what Kay was feeling was, I thought she was feeling judgmental, but it turns out she corrected me, and that what she was really feeling was the desire to control Dee and Barbara. And so in terms of this work that we do here, it's really fine to want to control anybody and anything. But the work we do is to verbalize our impulse, not to actually try to control them, but to say, I really have the impulse of wanting to control you guys. I really don't like what you're doing. It makes me uncomfortable. And I would like to have the power to get you to stop. And that's a perfectly wonderful communication to make, and it integrates the human psyche because the impulse is there, and it just needs to be acknowledged, and it needs to be, I talked in the last session about letting emotional experience breathe like wine. It needs to be acknowledged, and it needs to be released into the air so that it can float away. And then that's really when we soar emotionally, when feelings and thoughts just flow through us like breath. They come and they go, and we release them into the air, and then we're not plagued with them. They're not repetitive for us. One of our group members, John, was talking about how he gets very OCD about things being repetitive for him, that he incorporates somebody and then he can't let go. And the real integrative and normal, healthy functioning of how it is that we use our feelings and experience our feelings is that they just are released into the air. And then we go on to the next thing, the next thought, the next feeling. So,
can I try that, Jane? Try to
yeah.
do what you did. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to control your flirting. And I wish I had the power to do that.
And can I respond to what you're asking?
I'm not sure she's finished.
When
Is
you're
there
finished,
something
I'm
I
gonna
should
respond.
add to that?
Yeah, whatever comes to your mind.
It makes me feel like I'm in, grade school, and I find it very immature. And
I find it immature is
judgmental.
yes.
Okay.
So you want to stick with what your own process is, as opposed to telling
I wish I had the
them.
power to control that you would stop that, that you would stop that.
Okay, and my response to you, and then Dee can have his
Okay.
response, is respectfully I say to you that we have very good feelings towards each other that are healthy, and I am not going to stop flirting with Dee.
Okay.
I enjoy it. Makes me feel good, and God knows there's not much in this group that does make me feel good anymore. Thank you.
I'm happy that we can make her feel good.
Okay.
That's it?
I am.
I thought you were going to say...
I like flirting with you too.
Oh, all right, that's what I wanted to hear that. I thought it was a one-way street, then I would feel like an idiot.
I flirt with a lot of people. I enjoy it.
Men and women.
I don't see flirting going on with these two. I see two friends hanging out, having a good time, enjoying each other's company, but I don't see flirting.
Oh, we flirt, but as friends. I mean, we're friends. We become friends.
Well,
Say more
yeah,
friendly,
kind of
yeah,
playful
he
banter
doesn't
between
think it's
people.
sexual.
That's a good.
Yeah, he
What
doesn't
do you
think
mean?
it's
She's
sexual
asked to
about it.
sleep with him 3 times in the last 4 sessions. How is that just friends?
That's called flirting.
John?
Well, we could be attracted to each other, but
You mean what
something
she's
might not come
saying?
of it.
You're saying that she's been talking about it, wanting to have sex.
Yeah, I've
Right.
been propositioning
Yes.
the whole time. Yeah.
Okay, so you tell me what flirting is, if that is.
Well, that I would say I didn't pick up on that, but I would say that is slightly inappropriate. It is. I think to constantly announce that you want to have sex with the
I don't
guy
think
you're
she
sitting next to.
Constantly announce.
do.
We don't do it on live television.
She
You
doesn't
do.
constantly
We
announce.
don't constantly do
How many
it.
times
Last
was it?
episode was that. We spent more.
That's right.
I think we spent
Yeah,
15
right, the
minutes
whole
more
show.
talking
Yeah,
about
he-
you.
I was rubbing his leg and he was rubbing mine.
See,
He
again
loved
with
my
the sexual
material
end
of
of
my
it.
pants.
Again with the
Well, like I
sexual
said, I had no
end of
problem with you
windows.
guys. You look very happy. You make me happy to look at you guys having a good
Cool.
time. I wish
And you
I
can
had.
take us home with you.
Right, I'm going to act you both out.
All right. That
Well,
should
you
be
know
very
what? If you
interesting.
change chairs, you might get a chance.
Troublemaking.
No, on the contrary, because I see her, I see Barbara sort of leaning on him, and which is, I mean, I think she likes him.
Yeah.
Don't misunderstand.
I do like him.
Yeah, that's.
And I think that's a good thing.
I'm on your side. Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. And I just to get back to what the real issue was,
Right.
that you
Control.
without the labels, okay? I'm talking about your discomfort. That's really what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fact that there's something that's happening in your psyche
Right.
about what's going on, and each of us has a different take on what's going on,
Right.
which is very interesting. I said, because you're writing a story on it. If you don't like the story you're writing, then tear up the script.
Oh, I like it. I like it very much. I was that.
But you said, if you love me, you'll stop.
Well, they're not going to stop.
But you
For
said,
me.
if you love me. That was your last statement before we ended up the last session.
Well, then. They
Hey, are you
love me.
jealous?
No, no.
Because there's got to be a feeling behind why.
I
you
don't
were-
like going to dinner with other couples who are all over each other at the table.
But you
There's
can't
certain
Sweetie,
things I don't
Why?
like. I don't
Well,
have
this
to
is what's
like
going
it.
on.
No,
You're not a couple,
Why
though.
We're not
don't
a
you
couple
like
and we're
it?
not all
I
over
just
each
don't
You're
like
platonic
it.
friends.
Goes deeper than
Platonic,
that.
you
I
call
don't
it?
like
And
it.
even
Goes
if we
deeper than
touch
that.
each other,
Well,
it's
it might
fine.
very well not to, but I have a right
Okay,
to
I
be
don't
comfortable.
know. I don't know
You
who
I
I'm
work
supposed to
very
be
hard.
listening
I'm not
to.
saying you have no rights, but
So
this is a therapy
can we
group
stop
and-
for a minute, because I've got to establish some order. So who has the floor? Who wants to have the floor? Who should have the floor?
Ashanti.
Shanti.
Yeah, I really just, my idea of being in a group is not only to comment about what's going on for us to each other, it's to see how much compassion we might have for one another who's going through a mood. I mean, I could be drowned out by anybody who may have a great need to take a large part of the space here. But I would really want them to say, what's going on for you? I mean, to really show what in heaven's name is going on. I've been observing, and if it hurts, whenever you're in pain, say, it hurts. And I don't want to dwell on why it hurts as much as how this process could possibly ameliorate your condition of sensitivity, hypersensitivity in some instances. I mean, I think that's what we owe each other. I mean, we're all human beings, and all of us know what pain is, and nobody wants it. So we don't have to inflict it upon each other by dumping our inadequacies on each other as much as saying, I could use some help with this.
Yeah.
And you might not even know you need the help, and so
Right.
so you give us an opportunity. Say, be aware. That's your function. I don't want to limit your function, but it certainly is one of your primary functions to help us to be aware of what we're not aware of.
Right.
And then go home and look into the mirror of our souls and see what we can do to help ourselves.
Right.
Kay, do you think maybe you're reacting to this because perhaps because of the way you were abused as a child, and you're afraid of
Might be.
affection, of a
It's
show
it's
of
a trigger.
affection?
It's like a trigger.
It's a yeah. We triggered something.
It's bothering
No,
you, something in your past.
I don't object
Maybe.
to your interest in Kay. I applaud your interest in Kay. But I did feel that, Shantae said something that was pretty powerful. And I did feel, again, that it didn't have a moment to breathe.
Right.
That you didn't, that someone might have wanted to respond to what Shantae said, and that would have been that moment. That moment was calling our attention in this direction, not in that direction, and not in this direction, but that direction.
Well, it was
And-
sort of related because she was saying.
Shantae,
that-
I think
I
this
have
is
a
what I heard
response
from
to
Shantae.
Shantae that I'd like to give her. If that's
Oh,
all right
just
with you
don't
all.
yell, okay? Don't yell.
Just
Don't yell.
please, just
What's
say what
going
you
on with you now?
I don't want you to yell. Okay?
You're
He's
triggered.
not yelling.
That might be.
Just
but
say what
you
you gotta
don't
say
bring it
already.
in.
Wait, John.
You're
John,
anticipating.
Speak.
I
Don't
just
be-
want to
don't be sidetracked.
remind.
I'm anticipating.
I want to remind everyone that I have a rule against touching. There's no touching. So if you have a feeling towards someone, it's either aggressive or it's caretaking or it's love or it's whatever. In this context, we're not touching each other.
Oh, well, too late.
So you probably wanted to get his attention. That's probably why you touched
go
him,
ahead.
because he wasn't paying attention to you.
You talked about taking it home and,
Looking into the mirror of
also,
your
I
soul?
think not only taking it home, but ameliorating. I relate to that. Well, I want to do more than ameliorate. I want to get to the why, and the why or whys, the reasons
Sure.
why,
Sure. You can do that
to
forever,
me
by the way.
would be more than ameliorating.
can do that
would
forever.
get to healing. Healing.
What does that mean to you? Healing.
Walter,
Being-
hold it for a second. I'll tell you when I'll love you. I'll love you when we can get through a whole session without hearing out of this ear where the direction that you're coming from, you're chirping. I'd like to just be able to concentrate.
Don't be judgmental, Dr. Goldberg. She's not chirping.
I'm
She's
agreeing. I'm
I
going,
don't.
Relax.
I don't want you to. I don't want you to go. I want you to hold in whatever is your reaction, and when you have the floor and take the floor appropriately, put it into words. I don't want to hear nonverbal. I don't want to hear movement. I want to hear words. That's when I'll love you, if we can do that. So I do want to concentrate on what is happening here without being distracted by all this nonverbal stuff that's happening over here.
It's interesting that I didn't hear her at all, and that's your position, and you're the leader. But I really
but I'm
like
aware
the
of what's
presence
happening.
A little chirping that really does stay below the level of the speaker, who's me now.
But it doesn't stay below me because I'm in charge of everything that's happening and I have to be aware of everything that's happening.
Now who's the control freak?
Yeah, but
I
you're
ever
giving me,
said-
as a person in charge, you're giving me the space, and I'm just, I just think, I know it's your psychoanalytic way, but I'm just saying, for me, the way I would run a group is allow a little chirping, as long as it doesn't interfere.
It does interfere for me. And I've never said anything other than that I am a complete dictator.
I
I
need a
know,
more
I know.
democratic group.
Can we, I hear you. I want to finish what I was doing with Shanti. You asked why I need the why, or how. What that means to me, I think.
Healing. She asked about healing.
Good for you. Helped me.
You asked when do you feel you'll be healed?
What is healing, I ask you? What does healing mean to you?
For me, healing is when I've had a feeling that I've been wanting to have, and it's been from the sick state that I'm in on a lot of issues. Having feelings that want to come up, they're intense feelings, and I'm feeling in the world. And if I get to a feeling, which I've done on a few levels with a few feelings, and feel satisfied that I've really gone through the feeling and have felt it and don't need to go through it anymore.
Has that ever happened for you?
In some ways, yes. With specifically, more than anything else, with anger. I've satisfied. That's a big word for me. Satisfied myself
By
in
ejaculating
relation
your
to
feelings? you mean?
anger.
By ejaculating your feelings? Primal. As far as I'm concerned, that's an ejaculation of feeling.
I hesitate to use the
That's a
word.
great way to
I
put it.
hesitate to use the word. But
I'm
it
sure
is
you
for
do.
me.
But God bless.
It is for me an expression and a release of feelings. Yeah, it might be equivalent to
An ejaculation.
an ejaculation, but that in no way is like a devaluation.
No, I would hardly think anything would devalue ejaculating. I mean,
Thank
that's
you.
important.
Yeah, don't say
But in
that.
the right place.
Thank you. I'm trouble with you. I'm trouble with you.
Me? What did I do? What did I do?
With this don't yell, with this don't yell thing. You're
I
coming
was
up with that.
preparing to be yelled, to hear the yelling. I wanted
Well,
to
Walter,
prepare myself.
we do.
Relax,
We,
provoke him, you
one of the
provoke him.
jobs of all of us is to come to know the characters of all of the group members, and we already know about Kay that she sometimes feels danger when there is no danger. I mean, that was
Right.
my thumbnail sketch of her. So you need to remember that about Kay, that she
Now.
may be afraid you're going to yell when you don't have a plan to yell.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
sorry.
I think
I
what
have
she
to
says
also
is it
say that
sets-
I
it just
know.
sets him up.
Yeah, of course it does.
Makes him
I-
want to yell, right?
You shouldn't say it.
No, because
I
that
shouldn't
provokes
say
him.
it.
That's
Don't
gonna
get ahead of
provoke him.
yourself.
Then he's
Don't-
going to yell.
No,
Yeah.
you
I
should
don't go
say
there.
it.
I'm gonna
You
say
should
it.
say, I'm experiencing myself as being in a state of fear about the possibility of your yelling.
That's completely
And I don't
right.
know whether you're really going to yell or not. I just know that I'm feeling fearful about that
Okay.
possibility.
But
I'm
she's
feeling-
anticipating.
I
She
raised
should
my
say
voice
that.
a bit to
She's
start to talk to
anticipating.
She should
Shanti.
say
I-
that.
We should all be saying what our process is. We shouldn't just talk about ejaculation. We shouldn't just be verbally ejaculating.
Sure.
We should be processing and we should be sharing
But
the
don't you think
process
that just
in a
sets him up?
civilized way.
Don't you think
Even
that
if
just
it's
sets
No,
not-
that
him
would
up?
not saying
It
it in a
did.
civilized way wouldn't.
So
No,
he
But
just
it did
saying
set
it
him up.
did. It did because she didn't
didn't
do.
say it properly.
She didn't do
Okay.
what I'm
Okay.
I
suggesting.
should have
go
said,
there. I would-
I'm
Okay.
feeling fearful that you might yell, and I know
But
I'm...
there was no
no,
reason to feel
But again,
fearful. I mean,
but
it was
it's-
She's
totally
owning
irrational.
it.
But
She's
he's yelled
owning it as
before.
her own issue.
Okay.
It's my issue.
That doesn't set
Okay.
someone up.
Okay.
Remember what
And
I
he
said?
has yelled in the
Yeah, he
past.
has.
Do you remember what
I
I
know.
said about the definition, Freud's definition of civilization? That it was the first man who hurled a verbal accusation as opposed to a spear.
Right.
So all I'm trying to do is to get all of our primitive impulses, and we all have them. We want to control, and we hate, and we want to kill, and we want to have adultery, and we want to have crazy sex, and we want we want to have sex with animals even, I guess, sometimes.
That's
and we
his
want to have
thing. Well,
incest
that's
with
his
our children, like Mackenzie Phillips' father.
What is going on here?
The point is that this is what it means to be human. And we can either be that animal or we can develop our neocortex and be thoughtful about these primitive instincts and
very good.
impulses. And translating them into words, we're not going to get rid of them by pretending they don't exist. But translating them into words is the antidote to all
Yeah,
psychological
that was
afflictions.
very helpful, Dr. Goldberg.
I think
Thank
you
you.
said
That was
feelings, not
exactly what I
words.
should have been able, I hope, to be able to say next time.
Wait a minute. But
And that would have done good for me partly. It would have made it better for me.
Good.
I can't say that it would have been everything I needed. Because there's one other thing to say. I know I'm inclined to speak loud. And I was starting at Shanti, raising my voice, really wanting to be heard and anticipating she's going to hear me. And yes, you were in my direction, right? So it's understandable that you might be triggered.
Right,
and
but I
and
could have said
I
it.
haven't made any resolution never to yell in here again. I hold it still as possible that someone might really set me off at a point and
And
make
you
me
will
feel like
be-
yelling.
and you will be
but
an animal.
I'm not going
Walter.
to do it carelessly.
Walter.
It will really
No,
have
he's
to be
yelling
something
at her now.
powerful.
Yelling is careless because it is a volume that triggers people unnecessarily. Whatever can be said in a loud volume can be said exactly the same in a not loud volume.
It's not exactly the same.
you triggered him. You definitely triggered him.
You're right. It's
Oh,
not
well,
exactly the same.
Right.
I'm in a
Triggered you.
debative
Not yet.
Shanti,
mode. I'm
someone's
not
gotta
about to
pull it.
start
I just
screaming
put
in
the
anger
gun
at
there.
anybody, Barbara.
Walter, Shanti wants to talk to you.
It's okay.
And let me say, you've been doing okay. There have been moments that have been absolute bliss with not hearing your chirping, but you are bleeding through a little bit. So the time, it's really been wonderful that you've allowed people to do their work with this silence coming from this end of the room, and it helps them to be able to process it in a deeper way. So I appreciate it, but you still have a little ways to get perfect.
Yeah, another 48.
Okay, sorry, Shanti. I
You know,
needed
I
to say
really
that.
appreciate what this dialogue about the yelling, because I have a tendency to be voluble.
Be what?
Voluble.
Yell.
It's the Bible.
Volume.
Voluble, volume, up,
Yeah.
yell.
Okay.
Got it.
Thank you. New
That's
word
it.
for me.
Okay, great. You're a big help. You really are.
Thank you.
I mean it.
I try. When I'm not controlling the situation, I try to be helpful.
Listen, you know what? When I used to drive a car, and people were backseat drivers, and others would comment about others being backseat drivers, I said, no. I think that 12 eyes are better than 2, and all the voices are welcome. I'm in the driver's seat, and I will decide what to do. You can all make your point of view heard, and I must decide what's good for me. So I wanted to say to you, Alec, that I have benefited from this conversation because I sometimes get quite voluble. And it's not in anger, although many people respond as if it were. And it's not intended. It's kind of like Jewish, if you pardon the expression.
Yeah, please don't.
You know?
It's such a label.
Yeah, it's right. Isn't
is.
it
It
horrible?
really is a
I
stereotype.
can't stand nosological
Yeah, so
classifications.
do I, because I'm a Christian.
Forgive me. I really beg of you. I mean, I didn't mean to, but I wanted to get the point across without belaboring it.
That's fine.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm willing to, at this stage of the game, be a little bit more conscious of the effect it might be having on others. I mean, as a concession to the fact that other people have feelings that are as worthy as mine to acknowledge.
Well said.
I lose you there at the end somehow.
Well,
She's saying that you induce feelings in other people by how you are, and that she gave herself permission to speak at a loud volume as you're giving yourself permission. But what she has gotten out of this conversation is that it impacts on other people in a way that she didn't intend, and that she may not even have been aware that she really is injuring people in a certain sort of way by speaking at a loud volume, because it makes people uncomfortable, it pushes people away, it stimulates something in people to hear other people yell.
You know, that was beautiful, Doctor, really very beautiful. And I want to say that this is not the first time that people have told me, don't yell at me. I'm not yelling at you, I say. I'm yelling. There's a difference. And I don't want to be nitpicking. I want you to understand from my heart, I didn't mean for it to be received in the way in which...
Like admonishing someone.
Yeah, right, because that's it. So therefore, I can see they can't make the correction. Now, if I'm involved with a person, and I met somebody here recently, and we've become rather friendly, and we talk on the telephone, and she talks to me about certain things, and I might get a little voluble. And she'll say, don't yell at me. And I'll say to myself, I didn't even know I was doing it. I was just being. And but I have to be more sensitive to this particular person, or maybe more sensitive in general.
Do you think? It happens to me all the time.
Yeah.
It happens to me with Carol. Yeah. I
But
do it
you
with
yell-
Carol sometimes, and she gets put off by it because she feels like, like I'm yelling at her, and I don't mean to be at all. I mean, I just get passionate, and I get kind of loud.
I'm also voluble, and my daughter has really helped me with this, because when I'm just speaking in a loud voice, and she'll say, "Mom, I'm right here," and I always, when she does that, I always say, "Thank you."
And modulate.
But I think Walter 2 weeks ago was very much aware, because you weren't here.
Well, that was ultra
That was
vulnerable.
it was on the verge of violent yelling. I mean, literally, I got spit
Three.
on
3 weeks ago.
ago. Yeah. All right. At least he remembers. But we really got terrified, and it also brought us back to our past, because we had violent.
Who is this
pasts.
we?
Kay and I.
Okay, got it.
We both had very voluble, very extreme, loud, arguing, screaming.
Well, then you got to be
pasts.
used to it because you didn't have the violence associated.
Yes,
with
we
it.
did. No,
You did? Oh, you did?
Yeah.
We
think
kind
so.
of
Okay.
went back
Oh, you
there.
got so
We
there's a
went
trigger.
back.
It triggered.
Triggered.
I got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So then the work really belongs within yourselves. Clearly. I mean, you can't expect that the world is going to change.
Right, no, I
this is
agree
the
with
one thing we've got to learn. I can't change anybody.
Right.
I hardly can change myself,
Right,
for
I
God's
agree
sake.
with you, yeah.
No, seriously.
Yeah.
So what we're doing is asking, if you love me, you'll change. And we
Yeah, right.
do this with the people we love.
That's true.
We do it. We say, I thought you loved me. Why do you do this?
Right.
Yeah, stop flirting.
Right. You love me.
Stop flirting.
Okay. Would you get uncomfortable if I flirted with her? I'm digging the shit out of this.
I know. It's
Oh, I
great.
can't touch you.
really
I can't
like the man
touch
in me.
him.
That's
I'm
your
sorry.
problem.
Can't touch him.
I like people for people. I don't give a shit whether they have a dick or a
People
vagina.
are
Good for
people,
you.
so
I'm
hush.
totally into the
Good for
person.
you.
I'm totally into the person.
Yeah,
I
me
spent
too.
time
Yeah,
with
and I'm a little offended at that comment because I
No, but it
don't, I
became
don't go
You're
there
offended
for.
by that? I thought I
Totally.
was being revealing and you're
No,
offended.
no.
But it became
I
sexual
like the
about
stereotypical
us.
gay shit that goes around. Like people, you know.
Oh,
like
but
I like you because
I don't
I'm
don't
into
see
the
you as gay,
masculine
by the
side.
way. I mean,
She wasn't talking about your masculinity or
was talking
No,
femininity.
hers.
She was
No, I
talking about
understand
hers.
that. But it was because I'm gay and I'm going after the masculine
might be a
part of it.
lesbian.
That's what she said.
Is that it?
Are you
Well,
trying
that's
to
that's all.
control?
I'm trisexual.
There you go.
Oh,
Try
Jesus
anything.
Christ! With the labels. Oh, he's
It's
homo.
like hetero-flexible,
What are you
homo-flexible.
homo-flexible? I think I'm
Never
straight.
heard that one
I don't, I'm
Yeah, yeah,
judging that now. I don't
It's
know
all
if I'm
right.
straight
It's a-
anymore.
It's a nice label, isn't it?
Well, I'm middle-aged,
It's a fun
and
label.
middle-aged women go for women now when they can't find the men. So, or gay men.
Well, that's what you meant by
Fag hag.
saying
Can I
you
be a fag
qualified
hag?
it before.
No.
I spent
You don't
time
want
with
me
two
to-
people
Oh,
over the
come
weekend
No,
who,
you can't.
who I got terribly irritated with
Girlfriend. That's a
Yeah.
girl.
because they spoke
Walter,
softly.
I do want to listen to you, but
Yeah, yeah.
there are too many other things happening in the room. Can you
I
get?
know.
Can
I was
you
trying to
get
get
the
to
group's
that.
attention?
Come on, tell us. Tell
Can
us.
you get Barbara to? Why am I the one that? Oh, how come the
Thank
group won't take on Barbara? How come the group is not helping
Yeah,
me?
yeah, I guess I'd like to get the people whose attention I feel I'd like.
No, you
now.
need everyone's attention,
Nobody's
Walter.
helping.
But especially
If
more
you
than
don't
others.
have Barbara's attention, she's going to distract other people from listening.
But
to you.
especially
Barbara.
Barbara,
Why Barbara? Why
and
not Carol?
Kay.
Carol sits there like
and Dick.
this.
Okay,
Everybody's yes.
Protective.
Everybody's yes.
Quiet,
I
observing.
spent time with two people over the weekend.
Uh-oh.
I spent time with two
Attack
people over the
Carol.
weekend whose speaking softly irritated me intensely. And I have this feeling that so often that I want people to speak up and make it easy for me to hear.
Well,
Well, that's different
So
than
many
yelling.
people,
That's different than yelling.
So many people don't speak up. So many people, their voice is so,
Well,
they
that
don't
wouldn't be
speak,
us.
they don't
Anyway,
project.
I thought you were going to tell us a story about the two annoying people. Are you going to tell us what happened?
I wasn't intending to do that. I just wanted to
Did you want to talk more today?
give
I
it to
hope so.
to you for your
No,
consumption.
I was interested in his story, and he's talking about something else.
But
I haven't heard from you in this session, and I haven't heard enough from Carol.
Carol.
You're like
She
this.
said something
the
even
reason
about-
I know you did, and I'm not offended or hurt or anything. You did comment that I've crossed my arms, and I do because my shoulder hurts. If I sit like this, there's pressure on my shoulder, so
It's
I'm
not
kind of holding it
aggression.
up.
She's
Okay,
not aggressive.
Later on, when we have no restrictions, is it okay if I rub your shoulder?
I'd love that. I'd love for anyone to.
Yeah, and maybe we'll just form a line and we'll
And
all
let's
have a
flirt
little...
with
Yeah.
each other. Let's go.
Oh,
Let's
please,
flirt
shoot.
fast.
So Shanti, I'm sensing that you're having a
Flirt with you.
positive
She
feeling toward Carol. And maybe you actually want to say, I'm having a positive feeling
As
towards
a
you,
matter
Carol.
of fact, I wasn't having a positive feeling.
You were not?
towards Carol. No, because
When
when
you-
she sat there like
No,
this...
I
it was
know
like,
then. But when you
I never
offered to
sit
rub
with my
her
knees
shoulder,
apart.
she doesn't want you to rub her
You don't
shoulder
know
unless
her.
you're having
You
a
don't
positive
know
feeling
her.
toward her.
Oh,
Right.
right. Oh, no, don't misunderstand. When I I have a very positive feeling. I just didn't know what you were driving at. No, of course I have a positive. I've got a positive feeling for everybody in the group.
You're
Yeah.
a positive person.
I
You're
am.
incredible.
She sees a
Okay.
lot of things.
Okay.
I'm digging it. That's
Yeah.
what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
well,
go
we're
ahead,
gonna end this session
On a
on
high
a
note.
high note
might
with
be
everybody loving Shanti. Except I'm not sure Walter does.
Wait, I don't think he loves anybody.
In spite of the fact that he has... No.
Getting to know
You,
Getting to know all about you. I don't know where this song is going.
Perfect way to end. Thank you.
And on
Breaking
that
out
note-
into song.
And on that note, da 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 da.
Let's not forget...